How's it going, everybody? It's Guillermo here from ScreenRealm.com reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home, and don't worry, no spoilers ahead. Spider-Man No Way Home, the type of Hollywood tentpole that arrives to an almost unfair amount of expectations. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has worked wonders in earning itself a massive following, but with great power comes, you get what I'm saying. And with regards to No Way Home, with its MCU crossover element, its endless multiverse possibilities, the promise of characters from past Spidey films, talk about branding, and with a plethora of fan theories many took as fact without confirmation, hell, this is easily the most anticipated of the Tom Holland-led chapters. No pressure then. Speaking of pressure, I can already feel you watchers/listeners twitching your eyes as you eagerly await for the answer to the big question. Is it good or not? Yes, very. No Way Home catches us up with Peter Parker following the events of Far From Home, which, spoilers if you haven't seen that chapter, culminated in Mysterio framing Spider-Man for his death, and J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, back from the Tobey Maguire films, revealing Spider-Man's true identity to the world. Parker's newfound fame is extremely problematic, particularly since our hero no longer carries the friendly neighborhood tagline in the public eye. The public, the media, everyone knows not only who he is, but where he lives and who he knows, also making life difficult for Aunt May and Parker's friends, including his now girlfriend, MJ, played by Zendaya. With things getting increasingly out of hand, Parker decides to employ the help of one Dr. Stephen Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, in the hope that Strange can use a bit of his magic to restore his secret identity and get things back to the way they were. Of course, the spell doesn't go according to plan, leading to a rip in the multiverse that allows for various villains, who we've seen take on Spidey in previous films, to cross over into their world. Tom Holland's Peter Parker is soon facing Norman Osborn/Green Goblin, Otto Octavius/Dr. Octopus, Max Dillon/Electro, Flint Marko/Sandman, and Kurt Connors/Lizard. Parker and Strange agree that getting them back to their worlds is imperative, but there's a wrinkle that Strange is fine with and Parker simply isn't. They will return to whatever their fates are, including death. As Dr. Strange puts it,
it's their fate.
The multiverse concept has long been a type of get out of jail free card, providing doors for different iterations of characters to exist, avoiding having characters actually die and leave a franchise, and basically allowing for unlimited narrative options. Smartly, No Way Home manages to use the concept in a number of ways, from the obvious fan service that comes with the nostalgia-heavy return of past characters, to shaking up the world of our current Peter Parker in very real and highly dramatic ways, to serving as further setup for the MCU's evolving phase. Director John Watts and screenwriters Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, all returning after delivering previous Marvel Sony Spider-Man hits Homecoming and Far From Home, juice this high-concept narrative in impressive fashion. While many characters are juggled and the multiverse of it all makes mostly some degree of fantastical sense, Watts and company keep in mind that this is still a Spider-Man film, and our hero is wonderfully kept as the focal point while so much happens around him and to him. Save for, perhaps, Avengers Endgame, No Way Home proves to be Parker's most pivotal chapter. The character's very essence of always attempting to do the right thing and holding an optimistic attitude is used as the overall catalyst for the challenges that smack him in this chapter. It's an approach that's been used in Spider-Man stories since the character's conception on the page. Previously partnered up with a father figure of sorts in Tony Stark, this Peter Parker has generally been able to rely on some sort of emotional support from family, friends, and fellow heroes. While that's still somewhat the case, No Way Home pushes Holland's Parker to grow in ways that we haven't seen before. We've seen Holland's iteration of Parker and the web slinger grow since he made his debut in Captain America: Civil War.
You're the Spiderling, crime-fighting spider. You're Spider-Boy?
And seeing him struck with certain developments here is affecting on a different level. Our Parker is growing up fast, and it's not in the easy ways we would have liked for him. On an emotional level, fans are placed on quite the rollercoaster ride. The screenplay brings plenty of laughs throughout, continuing to benefit from the oh so charming chemistry of our young trio. Having Strange play a pivotal role also makes for a good time, as his gruff demeanor shapes into a sort of tough dad persona for our hero. But when the drama hits, fans may be caught unawares. It hits hard. From lows to highs and back again, No Way Home pushes the audiences to either emotional direction with surprising ease. As with previous MCU chapters holding crowded hero lineups, No Way Home does suffer ever so slightly from overcrowding. Bringing back 5 villains is an ambitious undertaking, and it proves to be a little too much for what the film has in store. Although these villains have already had their moments in the sun, their arcs aren't quite given equal value in this busy narrative. Lizard and Sandman in particular are given little time to make a mark, and often feel underused in the overall proceedings. Having all these characters here is undoubtedly exciting, but there remains a question as to whether or not all were actually needed.
Was that a dinosaur?
Those that were in doubt or unhappy with Jamie Foxx's rendition of Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 should be happy to find that his Max Dillon is much less pathetically caricatured. Fox is given the opportunity to lose the overbearing elements and make Dillon a man excited at the possibility of a new beginning.
How you like the new?
Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina embrace their roles as though no time has passed. The renowned thespians capture their characters perfectly, managing to gain audience empathy while driving narrative tension. Dafoe especially effortlessly finds that back and forth rhythm that made him so memorable back in 2002. Yeah, like 20 years ago. Disney money drives the big screen visuals fans have become accustomed to, so it feels a little redundant to commend the special effects in blockbusters these days, but it comes down to clarity and creativeness to stand out from the digital overload hitting our screens, and No Way Home delivers on both. Watts and his team expertly infuse the established Spider-Man effects and signature visuals we've seen before with some highly creative additions. Seeing Parker in Stranger's Realm, for example, proves to be quite the treat. Admittedly, if I were to nitpick just a bit, the inundation of CGI doesn't always nail it. Some of those digital faces, for example, can nudge you out of the moment. Tom Holland continues to prove himself an amazing Spider-Man. As mentioned, Parker is placed on quite the bumpy journey in No Way Home, allowing Holland to grow the character in ways we haven't seen before. There's pain here. There are layers of guilt and, yes, responsibility provided to the young man that are key to his path going forward. That alone makes No Way Home incredibly important for Spidey fans, and as we'll no doubt see play out in future, this universe as a whole. Spider-Man No Way Home is an epic, hugely entertaining, often surprising and emotional third film for our web-slinger. It serves as not only a great chapter in the MCU, but a fantastic standalone Spider-Man film on its own merits. This is a must-see event. Spider-Man No Way Home gets 4.5 stars out of 5.